Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. I see we have some attendees who are logging in. We're right at 6 p.m. I will probably give us about maybe 1 minute and 30 seconds to allow some attendees to go on in. So thank you for joining us this evening. Again, give us about maybe 1 minute, about 30 seconds, and we will start the program. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Again, thank you so much for joining us this evening on a wonderful, wonderful Thursday evening. I'm actually happy too because I saw sun for the first time in a long time and I was able to actually see my grass. But unfortunately, I saw what the dog did on the grass, so that was under the snow. But again, it's always good to see the sunshine. My name is Dr. Vladimir Singh, and I serve here as the Dean of Students here at the Community College of Allegheny County, and I will be your host slash MC this evening. We will have a lot of information that we'll be providing for you. Please know it may be considered information overload, but we will do our best to make sure we provide contact information for everyone. All right. So this evening, we pretty much want to talk about bridging the digital divide. All right. And for the sake of this conversation, we could get very much into detail and history and context, but we only have about an hour, right? So we're probably going to get right to the nitty gritty of it. So when you think about bridging the digital divide, it's pretty much, what's the definition, I would say, right? How could we start by even saying, wait, what is the definition? The definition we have here, the economic, educational, and social inequalities, right, between those who have computers and technology and online access and those who do not, right? And if you really get down to the detail, right, there's pretty much tiers to it as well, right? When you think of stages, we have an economic stage, right? How do we configure that? We have the usability stage, right? If we do have access, how do folks even learn to use the technology? And last but not least, I think what's most important, is the empowerment stage, right? Having access to technology is having access to information, right? And opportunity. Of course, we could get really much into how do we solve it, right? We could talk about affordability. We get to empowering, of course, the relevance of having online content. We could speak to infrastructure, gender gap, race gap, right? But I think the wonderful opportunity we have this evening is that we have information that we're going to provide to you from the partners and the collaborators, both with CCAC and other organizations. And we're going to provide information to you on how you, as an attendee to this event, could bridge the digital divide as well. Next slide, please. Thank you, Chance. And I have my wonderful assistant in the background, Chance Weidman, who is the director of the Homewood Brushing Center here at CCAC. So I'm going to go through the agenda real fast for us too. These are the individuals where you'll hear from this evening. We have Ms. Vanessa Buffering, who's from the Neighborhood Allies. We have Mrs. Eva St. Serin, who works here at CCAC, but then also works within our Verizon and Verizon Innovation Learning Program. We have Ms. Darren Ellerby, who works at the University of Pittsburgh, the Homewood Community Engagement Center. We have our wonderful guest speaker, Mr. Byron Allen, who you hear from. We have our CCAC recruiter, Ms. Charlotte Struthers, who will provide some information, and then we will provide for you a question and answer section. Now, if you take your mouse, whether you're on your phone or whether you're using a desktop, if you look to the bottom, right, you'll see a couple functions. You'll see, of course, participants that we have here, but then you'll also see the Q&A function and the chat function. We have disabled the chat function only for the panelists. We'll be able to share information to you. But when you have a question, go into where it says the Q&A box, take your mouse and scroll all the way to the bottom, where it says the Q&A box, type in your question right there, and we will be able to see that, and we'll be able to answer live as well, okay? Also too, is you see the other function where it has the raise hand. From the attendees section, we can see that as well, so we'll be able to see the raise hand. But again, if you have that question, go into that Q&A box, type it in, and we'll be able to answer it live, okay? All right, let's get right to it. Next slide, please. Thank you, Chance. So when we break it down to the CCAC period, right, we're going to pay close attention to the community college of Allegheny County, but the Homewood Brushing Center, right? I actually served as an assistant dean there for about 4.5 years. Wonderful, wonderful experience, wonderful, wonderful neighborhood. And I think CCAC Homewood was almost like a hidden gem, to be honest with you, right? I think when you walk by the building, if you're on Kelly Ave, you really don't know what's inside. You're like, I know CCAC, but what's in there, right? We got the capacity to serve about 1,000 students. What I love about it, it's a small, intimate setting where students have direct relationship and direct contact with the dean of students, faculty, staff. We have a learning resource center. We have a state-of-the-art science lab, multiple computer labs, a video conferencing presentation room. We have a wonderful barbering program that we just reinvigorated. As you can see here, we have feature services and programs, right? But if you look to the right of it where it says featured student support, we really want to make sure we look at the student and we view them holistically, right? As a student as a whole, understanding that students are coming in with personal strife, right? We want to make sure that you're not just taking courses here, right? But what's happening at home that may be putting a barrier in front of you, and how can we assist from the support side, all right? So speaking from the Homewood Brushing Center, Chance Wyman currently right now is the director. He is on this call, so we will be able to put in the chat feature our contact information. So if you have had any questions pertaining to the Homewood Brushing Center or CCAC as a whole. All right, can I get the next slide, please? And now I'll have the wonderful opportunity to introduce Vanessa, who will speak towards the Neighborhood Allies.
Hey all, my name is Vanessa Bouffry. I am the overeager blonde on the left side of the screen. As you can see, I work with other cool people. Neighborhood Allies is actually committed to 6 different neighborhoods in the Pittsburgh area, and Homewood is one of them. And I'll let you know, just a little well-known secret, that it's definitely one of the favorites. Neighborhood Allies is committed not just to the overall neighborhood level, but really we care about the people within. I'm going to share some of the programs that might be interesting to you all tonight, especially since you're here, because you're probably interested in being as cool as Mr. Allen, who will speak at the end. And we also have, perhaps most importantly, the opportunity to share digital skills building. We are partnered with the CCAC and separately with the University of Pittsburgh CEC to provide free programming to help you reach your dreams. So next slide, please. So really quickly, one of the ways that we help out is actually at the neighborhood level. So we help to celebrate and communicate the image of neighborhoods. If there's signs going up in the street in Homewood, some of the murals that you see, and even the Homewood Experiences website, were all things that we've played a role in somehow funding or bringing to be. We also support Black developers. We created an equitable empowerment fund with the URA, which helps Black developers guarantee loans so they can make more buildings in our communities and help build wealth. And we also help by providing grants and also funding, like helping people get PPP funding during the recent COVID crisis. So if you or anybody that you know falls into those categories, you can definitely check us out. All right, but really what we're here to talk about tonight is you. And so the next slide, highlights different ways we can help you. So one of them is that we provide financial counseling from certified financial specialists. So if you have issues with credit, savings goals, even if you're looking to transition to careers, again, check us out, Neighborhood Allies. We do financial counseling. We also do small business web support with GoGo, which means go online, grow online. So any small businesses that are trying to do retail, for example, they have a shop, you have an idea, but you need to build a website, again, check us out. But really what we're proud of is, well, what I'm proud of is what I do, which is this levelup412.org. And so Chance, you can click that, or I can maybe share my screen, but I just want to take 30 seconds and walk you through some of the awesome features of this website, because it can really help you choose and explore different careers for yourself. So if y'all can see my screen, it looks like it's having a bit trouble sharing. But on this website, you can see some of the reasons why a career in tech would be valuable. I mean, the starting salary is around $60,000. There's about 20% increase in jobs coming into Pittsburgh. This website lets you explore a bunch of different types of careers. You can either click one of these guys here, you can go directly to one of those sites, or you can actually take an assessment, which will ask you some questions about yourself, what your interests are, what your personality is like. And at the end of the assessment, we'll recommend some kind of coursework that you might be interested in. So if I were to fill out all of these different criteria, like how good I feel about robots, you know, whether you like solving things that are broken, like little details, or whether you look at a bigger picture, and at the end, it will evaluate your results. And when you click on that, you'll go to a page where we've interviewed people all over Pittsburgh, but particularly people who are minorities in tech, and they'll talk about their experience. This is one of my favorite. Craig actually works as a programmer, and he had an accident when he was working in a warehouse and decided that basically he wanted a bit more stable job. He wanted something that would make a reliable income and that he could do from anywhere. So this website will help. You can watch the video, talks about what kind of education level, what the salary is like, and really the soft skills. And I got to tell you that these are all things that the CCAC is prepared to take you from, you know, just level 1 all the way up there. And down here, you'll see different courses that we're offering. And you'll notice that the CCAC is right there. And so when you're ready, you just click Get Started. You can fill this out. You can talk to the folks at the end of this panel tonight, and they'll make sure to get you hooked up with some awesome programming to learn more tech skills. All right, that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. And then as she indicated, towards the end, we will have our lead instructor, Charmin Struthers. She'll be able to get on the call, and she'll be able to provide some information on how we could apply to be into CCAC as well and get into different programs.
Okay, good evening. My name is Eva St. Cyrin. I am so happy to be here with all of you today. I'm here to talk about the 2 programs that are brand new to CCAC, and that is the Verizon Innovative Learning Program, VIL, and Verizon Achievement Matriculation and Mentorship Program that we call VAMP. They're 2 separate programs, but intentionally we created these programs so that the students can work their way towards their college career, and really trying to decrease that divide digitally is really Verizon's big mission, and CCAC's as well, of course. So we really want to focus, again, like I said, how they bridge these 2 programs can bridge to the digital inclusion space at Homewood Brushton. And the Verizon Innovative Learning Program is for middle school students. It is a non-credit STEM focused summer program. and it will be held on Saturdays. And really, the focus here is just to get students in front of technology. That's basically the goal, and see them flourish, because we know that they can. The second program is the VAMP program. This is for high school students. It is a dual enrollment program for high school students to take college credits. We already finished our first semester and it's gone really well. I am the program coordinator, so I have firsthand experience with the students, and it's been a really great positive experience so far. And we will give you the information if you are interested, or if anyone you know is interested. And basically all that matters is you are in high school for that program. Okay, the next slide, please. So like I said, these programs were really intentionally created to hone in on the mentorship component that really fosters the retention and helps students stay in the program. When there are issues, we have many people on our team to try and troubleshoot with the student and really just listen and understand what their issues or what their problems might be, to continue in the program and just try to tackle those right away versus waiting for, when it's way too late. It's our success is the student's success, and the programs are really created to be able to continue that learning down the line. So like I said before, it begins with the coordinator, and it is really to guide and work with the students to inquire, just really learning about their interests, their academic needs, and how those can connect to STEM. Because a lot of times you don't realize, or students don't realize, how many different careers that there are out there, and sometimes just putting it in front of them and letting them understand where they can go and how they can really put forward their interests as well. The second tier of mentorship are the faculty members. We work directly with the faculty members that are hand selected. They know going in that they are going to be teaching high school students and excited about it. It's a great way for us to really ensure that everyone is involved. Again, like we were saying before about all hands in, basically. And then the third tier of developmental mentorship is the external mentors. And, we really want to make sure that even though that they're closer to finishing one or both of the programs, hold on to knowing and them realizing that we're here to help. And like I said before, we just want to put them in front of these things that are available and watch them flourish. So that's basically all I have for those programs. But as I said before, my contact information will be at the end of this presentation. Please reach out. Any questions at all, any interest, or if you know anyone interested, it's been flourishing. So I'm hoping that it continues that way.
Hello, everyone. I'm Darren Ellerby. I'm the director of the University of Pittsburgh Community Engagement Center in Homewood, and I'm very happy to be here. And I also want to wish everybody a happy Black History Month. We're not out of February yet. We still have a few more days. I'm here to talk to you a bit about the CEC. We are located in Homewood, right next to the PNC Bank on North Homewood Avenue. We've been open since October of 2018. So we celebrated our 2-year anniversary in the midst of a pandemic. We pretty much operate in a space that includes collaboration. 16 schools and units from Pitt work up through the CEC, as well as various departments and affinity groups and so forth. It truly is an all hands in approach to engage Homewood and the surrounding communities. There's a long-term investment in the CEC. We signed a lease for 15 years, and we rent the space from Bible Center Church. So once the lease is up, the CEC space will return to the community as another asset in Homewood. In addition, we offer various programs and opportunities at the CEC under the following activity areas, which include enriched education, economic prosperity, enhanced health and wellness, strengthened cultural arts, as well as innovation and business growth. Once we get through this pandemic, I hope that you'll stop in for a tour, you'll stop in to visit the physical space, but in the midst of a pandemic, the work of the CEC continues. We offer a host of activities online at the moment, and if you want more information, you could visit our webpage at cec.pitt.edu. That's cec.pitt.edu. This work cannot be done alone. We have an awareness of neighborhood priorities and agendas, and we work very closely with our community partners. I actually work with an advisory board made up of residents and community leaders, and they really shape and guide the work of the CEC to ensure that we are in alignment with the goals of Homewood, that we are pretty much working in lockstep with community partners, that we're filling gaps, and that we're leveraging our resources in a truly transformative way. So with all of that being said, collaboration is beyond important. And that's the reason why we are a very proud sponsor and supporter of the digital inclusion initiative taking place involving CCAC, the YMCA, as well as the Homewood Children's Village. So the University of Pittsburgh Alumni Association partnership with CCAC to support mentorship in STEM careers. It's really a game changer. We know that representation matters, and this level of mentorship in STEM is important to ensure that people who look like me, little girls and women, are connected to careers that can change the trajectory of their lives. So with that being said, I'm very proud to represent the University of Pittsburgh. I'm very proud to represent a city that I'm from and that I love. And I'm very proud to represent the African American Alumni Council. And I'm here to now introduce you to our speaker of the hour, Mr. Byron Allen. And I'll share just a few brief points about Byron before he comes on. So Byron is a Pittsburgh native. He is actually from Homewood. He was formerly educated at St. Paul's Cathedral Grade School. He graduated from Central Catholic High School, and he earned his bachelor's degrees in accounting from the University of Pittsburgh. He is a certified Scrum Master for Agile Technology Project Management, so I cannot wait to hear what that means exactly. He is currently a Highmark Project Manager and Technology Liaison for the Medicare Advantage Risk Score Accuracy Program. Now, Byron is very active in the community and has been. His current community and professional affiliations include being the first executive vice president of the University of Pittsburgh's African American Alumni Council. And I'll just share a couple of sentences from Byron's vision statement, and then I will pass the mic to him. But Byron believes that we are in a time of critical change, especially for African Americans. At no other point in American history have African Americans been in a position to decide their future so willingly and with such ease. Technology is at an all-time high, ushering in access to digital education and communication streams that can level the playing field, regardless of physical, personal, or social differences. So with that being said, it is my esteemed honor to introduce you all to Mr. Byron Allen.
Thank you very much, Darren. Good evening, everyone. I just want to take a second to pay my respect to Darren. Darren, you and your staff have been instrumental in helping to revitalize Homewood and providing opportunities for the community. I also want to thank our CCAC President, Nicole Parks, and our new President of the PAA, Valerie Njai, for doing an excellent job guiding and mentoring the next generation of leaders. I did this because I want to make sure that we celebrate you all as leaders within our community this Black History Month. Black History Month is certainly a time for reflection on where we were, where we are, and where we would like to be in the future. And I appreciate all of you for carrying the mantle forward for those that came before us. Next slide, please. I'd also like to thank everyone who's here today. I'm excited for you having me and appreciate this opportunity. As you are aware, my name is Byron Allen, and no, I'm not the billionaire Byron Allen, not at this point in time, but maybe in the future. And all of you, the one that you guys may have been expecting to see. But even though I'm not that Byron Allen, I do have a wealth of knowledge, skills, and information that I'd like to share with you tonight. First, I'd like to briefly speak about how the PAA and the African American Alumni Council are partnering to support our students and alumni. Our purpose is to promote a spirit of community, loyalty, and support among African American alumni as we partner with the university and the community. Because of the effects of the brutal murder of George Floyd and current pandemic, we've had to take on a new posture to support our students. Therefore, we created the Student Success Initiative to ensure all African American students achieve academic success by partnering with the university. My role as first Vice President of Programs is to ensure that we have adequate programming to achieve these goals. And this year, CCAC conducted an independent examination of retention and graduation rates for Black students. And this has led to new initiatives and a new focus. And with the support of the Chancellor and staff, people like Darren, Alexandra, and everyone in the PAA, we expect to create equitable outcomes for students, alumni, and the community. Now, with that being said, I'd like to say to you, I really thought that it was appropriate that I'd be one of tonight's speakers to bridge the partnership between community college and the University of Pittsburgh. Both institutions played a major role in my life and my career. The Homewood branch of CCAC was my first introduction to higher education. I was only about 3 years old when my father sat me in the front seat of his class that he was teaching. And then after that, he would take me across the street to the daycare center, where the new Pitt Community Engagement Center currently resides. I never thought it would be an ongoing theme in my life and my career, but it truly has been. This connection with CCAC and with Pitt. CCAC prepared me to be successful at the University of Pittsburgh. And it helped me realize major leaps in my career. When I interviewed for my tax accounting job, this is when I was first starting out, I was chosen because I understood computer software. These were skills I learned as a part-time hardware software technician in the summers at CCAC. When I interviewed for my corporate risk and compliance role, my manager noted that my database and technology skills that he really liked were necessary for the role, and that's how I got the job. I learned advanced access database and visual basic programming in a continuing education course at CCAC. These are just a few of the examples where Pitt and CCAC provided me with a strong foundation to exceed even my own goals, and for giving me the opportunity to own my own career. So if there's anything that you want to take away from my story, it's that building your IT skills opens up options, especially for minorities and women. Therefore, I suggest anyone looking to advance their career should invest heavily into information science and technology, because it could be the key to your greatest success. I know that it was a key for mine. Thank you.
Byron, thank you so much for the words of wisdom, but then also to kind of setting it up for us, right? Kind of putting yourself in the moment to kind of say, hey, you know what? I know I can get involved in something and I can actually set this trend where people look like me to follow me, right? So I have a couple questions before we'll probably offer an opportunity within the Q&A. But if you can, especially with IT, right? Like what sparked your interest in the STEM field? Oh, you're muted, sir.
Sorry about that.
Nah, it's okay.
I do this all day long. Everyone tells me, hey, you got to speak. So thank you for being that 10th person to tell me today. But really, I got involved. I was interested in figuring out ways how to do my job faster. You know, I was always someone who was interested in how can we do things better? How can we do things faster? And I had that same mantra that was in my head a long time ago. My father and my mother used to say this too: work smarter, not harder. Don't break your back. So for me, it was a big thing trying to figure out how to move faster and dealing with derivative trading and looking at different swaps, options, things like that. We had a lot of spreadsheets that we worked on. I wanted to figure out how I could be the best. I wanted to figure out how I could be fast. And I wanted to take a longer lunch. So what I did was I started figuring out how to do spreadsheets, how to do these things. And I ended up being able to hang out a little longer than I normally would be and to get my work done. So that's kind of how I got into it starting off.
No, so I guess then, of course, getting into it with getting a job, you had to, obtain a degree, get into studies, and you mentioned before about your connection to CCAC, but what would you say would be important from the community college level, right? Like why would getting either an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, why would that matter to get into the STEM field, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, that's really the foundation. And I would have to say, I've been taking courses at CCAC probably since I was 13 years old. I tell a lot of people this. My father was big about putting me into these classes, and I thought it was always a babysitting thing. He didn't want to. We actually went to summer camp, and my brothers can attest to this because my other brother is in IT. So he does really well in IT as well. And we would just start courses. It would probably, I was about 13 years old, sitting in courses with 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and we're learning about all different things. But in all honesty, I think that having that foundation that CCAC provides, it's a care. So when I went into the room, I knew that there was someone who cared about me succeeding, even though I wasn't the same age as everyone else, even though I didn't have that foundation through high school that other people may have. I learned a lot of different skills. So if you want to get that foundational piece, CCAC is definitely for you. And then also working with the University of Pittsburgh, you can expand on that, getting additional education and kind of polishing some things in other areas that you may not have thought about going into. That's what I loved about the University of Pittsburgh too. I spent a lot of my time there. And that's what kind of drew me into, you know, being an Oaklander for life, even though I'm from Homewood.
I know. And you know what's so very interesting too is, and with people on this call, but I know Darren will probably nod her head, is that Homewood is so unique, right? Think about all the different towns or quote unquote hoods, right, in the city of Pittsburgh or in Western PA. Think about it. Homewood is one of the only areas where you have a middle school, elementary school, a high school, a community college, and a four-year college, right? So think about the whole notion of having a village, right? So, and you have a YMCA right there, and you have a lot of Community Empowerment Association, Homewood Children's Village. You have a lot of support and resources that technically a kid in Homewood doesn't have to really leave. He or she could be nurtured literally right then and there. And I think this opportunity to see someone who looks like him from there and now is doing that, I think is powerful. So going with that notion, understanding you went through school, your parents gave you a good foundation, but you probably had mentors along the way, right? So I would assume, why was that important? Or if you did have any advice from what they gave you that kind of maybe steered you toward this direction as well?
You're absolutely right. That's why I'm engaged with mentoring at the University of Pittsburgh. I actually started a program with a lot of our executive board on the CCAC. We made sure that we wanted to have something in place for the students being able to give back, because it helped me as well. At CCAC, there were so many people, they weren't in STEM field per se, but there were actually Black professors. Seeing Black professors is huge to me. Seeing people in your position, you don't realize how important that is to a Black male and a Black female, to see women, Black men and women in positions of authority, positions where they can actually help, understanding that we have those same opportunities that you have right now that you're giving us. So you're starting the template for us to be able to achieve and want to achieve. And that's what I had with a lot of my mentors. My mentors told me to never give up, keep on going, even though I wanted to quit. They left me with a lot of different ideas on strategies to be able to study better, getting me connected with the right people, even though none of them look like me. And it doesn't matter if your mentor is Black, white, green, whatever, as long as you have someone in your corner who wants to sponsor you and support you to achieve your goals. So we have that, and even today, I actually have a mentor. Well, my mentor has been fantastic, working with information technology senior management forum. That was a year-long program that I worked with. They match you up with CEOs, CIOs who are all Black. So this is, it's kind of a cohort that you have. It's specifically dedicated to African Americans, and you basically travel around the country. You go to Silicon Valley, you go to Atlanta, you go to all different places where they have symposiums to teach you about what's going on in technology, the cutting edge. And you also have that opportunity to be around people like yourself, so you know that you're not alone. Even though everyone who started out years ago, you were typically that old adage where you were the only one in the room representing everyone else. So that's really the importance of having a mentor and people around you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll stop right here. I have a question for you, but it looks like we have a question in the Q&A. And the question we have for you, Byron, is, do you need to have a degree to get a decent job in this field?
That's actually that's a really good point. Do you have to have a degree? No, you do not have to have a degree to get a job, a decent job in the field. If you're looking at corporations like Facebook, Google, but I'll be honest with you, if you want to move on, if you want to move up, if you want to be someone who's polished, if you want to be able to have a seat at the table, yes, you will need a degree. If you want to have the opportunity to sit with people who run everything, yes, you want to have a degree. And really, I think of it like this. When I was younger, I used to always ask myself, do I need a degree? Do I need this? No, I don't need this to to be able to do any of these things that I want to do in life. But it wasn't until I got a lot older that I realized that I did need that degree. And the reason that I needed that degree was because I realized that it was an investment. Basically, it was an investment in myself. It was an investment in time, effort, and also that investment provides you with a level of trust. So when you establish your credentials, you get these degrees, it's just like in technology. You have to have credentials in front of you for individuals to be able to trust you. Like when you send your information over the internet, those are credentials that are trusted because they met a certain criteria. And that's what a degree can do for you. So I would say you don't have to have one, but I would say if you want to move up and you want to move up fast and be able to have a different view on life and what's around you in the world in general, you probably should try to grab one of those degrees wherever possible.
Thank you, Byron. Growing up, I didn't have a choice. My mom literally said, "You're gonna get a degree, boy."
My parents too.
It wasn't no choice.
Right.
I didn't have the opportunity to sit there and go,
I hear you.
So let's see. So I have one more question for Byron, but I do want to allow the attendees to ask any questions. So we had one question from one of the attendees. So again, take your mouse, go right down to where it says Q&A. Click that box. You can type in your question right there. And let's see if we have any questions for Byron. It looks like we have one that just came up. All right. So the question we have here is, what type of introductory IT course would you suggest a high school student take to help them determine if they would enjoy the field and if they have an aptitude for this field? That's a wonderful question.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I know I took Intro to Technology. It kind of gives you really an understanding of everything. I don't know what they call it now, but it might have changed overall.
CCAC 100, you're not too far off.
100, there you go. That's a course that really gives you that understanding of what you want to do. I mean, there's so many different careers that you can jump into. If you have IT, you can get into building app devs, developing apps. You can get into website design. You can get into just basic management. Maybe it's a cell phone, you're developing apps there. Maybe it's cybersecurity, networking. There are so many different avenues, especially when you're going into other venues like artificial intelligence, machine learning. Those are all things that you start to pick up, and they kind of all get encapsulated in this new thing that they call cybersecurity. You probably heard about it with the SolarWinds incident. That's where I was. I'm in IT risk and compliance, and going into cybersecurity. Those are the things that we need. Those are the people that we need right now. There's a huge chasm, a huge gap for the need versus what we have. So the opportunity, if you take it now, it'll be great success for you, no matter where you choose to go with it.
And I'll be able to plug in our Verizon Innovation Learning Program and our VAMP program that Eva St. Cyrin spoke to earlier about. The two piece is the Innovation Learning Program is a summer program, a summer STEM program for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, where we expose them to augmented reality, virtual reality, 3D printing, coding, and now we have a new artificial intelligence and robotics. And that's both at the Homewood Brushing Center. We're gonna have these courses this summer camp, and at the West Hill Center. And then VAMP now, pertaining to the question that was asked for the high school student, that's pretty much what we do. We're saying, hey, you know what? Let's put you in STEM field or information technology courses, see if you like it. Because everyone thinks it's, the stereotype of, something boring and not fun and quote unquote a nerd. No, we expose you to it because there's so many different fields, so many jobs you could get exposed to. And you're like, whoa, that's IT related? I could do that. So that's another plug that I'll probably place in there, that we have that currently now at CCAC, where we got the Verizon Innovation Learning for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and then the VAMP program for dual enrolled high school students. We have students right now from Westinghouse taking some courses within our program. We have students all across Western PA. So great question. All right, I'm seeing one in here, Byron. Look like they're firing now, Byron. All right. When striving for a STEM programming career, will the education being taught in your degree help you learn the material you need to know? Or will you have to learn outside resources? Because I hear that a degree isn't enough for your career. Before you go into there, Byron, can I just throw a plug in to answer this question as well?
Absolutely.
I would say, I know I'm an individual that I have to learn outside of the classroom. I have to learn by application. So when I sitting down, I hear my instructor, I'm listening to what's happening, what's going on. I see it, I write it, but then I have to now leave and actually incorporate and do those things and learn and fail so that I know what to and not to. So that's a great question. I would say your degree prepares you and provides you almost like the tool or like the play, right? But then you now have to go play the game and execute the game by going outside of the classroom. So I'm sorry, Byron, I didn't mean to take your thunder, but go ahead, sir.
No, you hit the nail on the head, Dr. Byron. I mean, you were really, really in tune with what you need to do. The degree that you get is going to definitely help you. Like was just mentioned, you will have that foundation, but you definitely need to learn, and you're going to get on the job training. So anything that you truly learn in IT, the book's not going to tell you what to do exactly, but it will give you that foundation and that understanding to be able to communicate effectively. So when you go and take these courses, this is about communication. What I've found has been a hindrance for a lot of individuals who go into IT, and this is going to be a big, big boon for people who have this skill set. It's one of the skill sets that I have. It's being able to bridge the gap between the business and IT. So if you can speak the language of the business and you can speak the language of IT and be able to translate between the two, you're invaluable. That's what I do right now, working on removing impediments between IT and our current business group to make sure that we can make those sales we need to make those revenues that we need to make, and that will be your success story.
All right. I think it's a statement, but I'll say it. Let's see. Something to consider. You could get your foot in the door with a certificate in 6 months in the right field, like cloud computing, for example. Yes, that's true. And then get the company to send you to school to work towards getting the degree and pay you at the same time. Very true. Many of our people are living hand to mouth and they need options to allow them to eat the elephant one bite at a time. Michael, I'm gonna put you out there. Hell yeah. It is very true. And actually, you know, the one thing I love about what we're trying to do with working with Darren over at the CEC is we have certificate programs, right? And a lot of times, you know, folks are saying, hey, Dr. Vlad, I want to make money now. I need to be exposed now, right? So then we try to push them towards a certificate program to one, see if they want to do something in that field, but then two, they can stack credentials and then say, hey, I can then get the associate's degree. But with a certificate, you are at least credentialed. So that's very true. And I know in IT, there's what, C+, help me, Byron. There's a couple of certificates where individuals could probably
C+, you can get a
Linux.
CISSP in security. You can get the networking. You can get cloud computing. There are so many different A+ just starting off if you just want to understand the basics, the guts of a computer. So many different certification and courses. I'm actually studying for a couple right now because continued learning is the expectation, especially as you start to move up in senior management. You'll see a lot of people who are CIOs, CEOs. Those people have certifications that it just looks like the alphabet behind their name because there's so many certifications and so many different ways and things to learn about in IT.
Thank you. All right. Byron, I feel like you and I could talk all day long and me to interview you and keep going, but thank you. But I do have one final question for you. So, and pretty short and sweet, right to it. So understanding your trials and tribulations, your goals, your gifts, your joys, your successes, what advice would you give to the next Byron?
The next Byron, I would probably tell them that it's okay. First off, before anything else, I would say, whatever you do, release the fear. Release the fear. And I say this to every one of my mentees. I say this to everyone that I speak to. The main thing that holds us back from being successful is our own fear. In some cases, it's not even a fear of things that could go wrong. It may be the fear that we may do things right, the fear of responsibility, the fear of accountability. These are all things that we've been challenged with over time. And as you start to progress in your career and you become a leader, it's necessary for you to shed a lot of that fear and understand the importance of your knowledge and that base of knowledge that you gain. As an African American, I know that it's rough. You're going to be alone. I've been there. I've been there a lot. I have a lot of friends who are there right now, and we talk about it all the time. We're actually going to have a meeting this weekend, probably around 30 to 40 of us on a Zoom call, talking about what's going on in our community, what's going on in our lives, and how we can support each other to ensure our own success. I would have to say, overall, just believe in yourself, respect yourself and your family, respect the knowledge that you gained, and recognize your power, because it's truly within you and it's truly within the people around you. So don't stop yourself. Just keep on going.
I'm about to run through that wall right now, Byron. I truly appreciate it. And you actually hit something that I wanted to share too, is that, you know, when you think about, and I love how you said, don't be afraid, right? And I think growth and comfort can't coexist, right? It can't. So in order to grow, you really got to sometimes be uncomfortable, right? It's only when you're at that line of being uncomfortable is when you really begin to learn about yourself, what you could take and what you could handle, right? So I love that. But, you know, before I jump in to Charmin, who's going to talk to us about CCAC and the application process and getting started, there's one more question. I want to make sure I have allow this individual an opportunity to get an answer. So it says, is there a certain amount of courses or experience required for recruiters to start taking me serious for job offers? I've always felt that what holds me back is a lack of experience in a particular field. Would you favor credentials over degree or vice versa?
That is a great question. If I take it old school, when my father was running Black Male Blog and other programs, he would say, fake it till you make it. But in all honesty, it's about how you sell yourself. If you present yourself in a way that shows that you're an individual who has skill, who can be trusted, who has a knowledge of what you're trying to go into, or a true desire to be able to excel in whatever field you're in, then you'll probably get a position that you think that you're not ready for, because those other individuals will see that you are ready. So it's really, I don't really think that you should consider thinking about yourself in the number of credits that you've earned. I think it's the skills and preparing. So preparation for anything that you do is the key to success. So just consider that in the future, and don't focus as much on the number of credits.
That's true. And also too, and as Byron said, the more whether jobs or fields you study or you get into, that you build in your field of experience. But one thing I would say is and another plug for CCAC, we have our workforce and job readiness staff, career services. What I love what they do, they work on your resume and cover letter. And it's amazing sometimes the things you miss out to place in a resume, place in a cover letter that shows, especially to a unique field, oh, they know what they're talking about, right? If you mentioned like C++, Linux, oh, let me open up that second page of that resume to see what Vlad is talking about, because it looks like he knows what it is, instead of it being a generic. So I would say, look at your resume, look at your cover letter, and then we offer free services when it comes to mock interviewing and resume writing and things like that at CCAC. So that could be an opportunity where you could just remix your resume and make it fit out. So it looks like we are going to move on. Byron, I mean, thank you so much for offering your story, words of encouragement. Like I told you, I'm still ready to run through that wall after what you just told me. Truly appreciate it. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Sure. All right. Now we're moving on to the end of this program, and we will have our leading recruiter, Ms. Charmin Struthers, talk to us about the CCAC application process. Charmin, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Vlad, I think you called me a different title every time that you said my name tonight. And we worked together side by side. So I work in admissions. And so today I'm going to go over a little bit about our admissions and our application process. And so the first step that you are going to want to do is you want to go to ccac.edu. And instead of me saying this, click admissions, I'd actually like to show you. So if it would be okay, Chance, could I share my screen? Okay, so does everybody see the CCAC welcome screen? I swear I'm not a tech person. So every time I share a screen, I'm like, are you guys with me? But when you go to ccac.edu, right here in this top tab, you'll want to hover over and you'll see it's admissions, and you'll go down to admissions and enrollment. And then right here to the left, it will have apply to CCAC. So there are several different categories for who you are as an applicant. So first time new student to CCAC, I think that's pretty explainable. And then a dual enrollment student. So for some of the programs that were mentioned today, for the Verizon program and VAMP, dual enrollment students, any student that is currently in high school that plans to take a college course while still in high school is a dual enrollment student. A first-time visiting student would apply to a student that is taking classes at another college or institution at the same time that they would plan to enroll in a class at CCAC. And then we have current CCAC student. So a student who was enrolled, but then has taken a little bit of some time off and then wants to get back in there. And then the returning student is a student that hasn't taken classes in more than 2 years. When you do click on that, I'm just going to show you again. Hopefully it takes you to the next one. So I just chose first time new student and it takes you to Discover site. Do you guys see that? Vlad, can I get a thumbs up? Oh, good. So here's where you're going to create your account. I just like to show this because sometimes people think that they'll go to this site and you create your account and that they've completed their application, but you're literally creating an account. So after you create your account, there will come up and it will ask you if you want to start and complete an application. And that's the application. I recommend any student that would be in this program that they would choose general studies or taking a few classes. They'll ask you for the academic program that you want to take. If you know for sure that you want to be in information technology or you want to be in one of our tech fields, STEM, then you can choose that. But if you're a little bit unsure, then I do recommend that you choose general studies or the option of take a few classes. PowerPoint, please. I should also mention that our application is for free, so you don't have to hesitate to complete our application. There's no fee, and like I said, when you go on there, you're just going to fill in the application to make sure you create your account and then go on to the next stage. Another part of the application process is to complete your financial aid. So although some of the programs that we have mentioned, they are last funding dollars. So they do recommend for each student to complete the FAFSA, and that is our website right there. And you'll want to put in our school code. And you can schedule a virtual appointment if you would have any questions. We're not recommending that you take out any loans or anything, but if there is any grant dollars that you might qualify for, then they would like to use the funding money as last dollars. The course information is the one that's going to be starting. It's not the CIT 100, but it is the CIT 115, Information Technology Fundamentals. That's a 3-credit course, and it's going to be starting on March 15th. As you can see, the description of the course, it will be fully online asynchronous, so there will not be any face-to-face instruction, fully online, and you would log into your Blackboard, and you would be able to receive step-by-step guidelines on how to go about that as well. So our enrollment steps for this are a little bit different than the acceptance email that you're going to receive. So I really want to make sure I go through this, and then Chance, I'll have you go back to the acceptance email so that you don't get confused. So the enrollment steps, as I mentioned, are completing the admissions application and then applying for financial aid. After you complete your application, you are going to want to let the director of the Homewood Brushland Center, Chance Weidman, know that you are interested in the program and that you have completed the first 2 steps. You can contact him by phone or email. And then the third process would be that you're going to get registered for the course. A student that would not be in this program would typically meet with an academic advisor, and that's some of the language that you would see in your acceptance email. So I want to make sure that it's very clear that you're not going to be meeting with an academic advisor, that your registration that will get processed through the Homewood Brushland Center. Students that will be receiving a laptop or any Wi-Fi, they'll be making those arrangements also to pick those up with Chance Weidman. So if we could go back to that acceptance email so no one gets confused, that'd be great. There we go. So once you do apply to the college, you get the, wow, thank you, you've been accepted. Let's get you enrolled. Here are the 3 steps away from becoming a Wildcat. But these are not your 3 steps, right? You would want to submit your high school transcript, and you can send that to admissions@ccac.edu. You are not going to meet with an academic advisor. Chance isn't your academic advisor, but he's the one that's going to get you registered for classes. As I said before, they do recommend that you complete the FAFSA, and you will not be placement testing. You do not have to placement test to take the CIT 115 course. That is for students that plan to take a course that is in English or math, or a course that requires English or math. There are some CIT courses that do require a math eligibility and requirement. And if that was something that you did move on to sometime in the future, then yes, you would have to placement test. But outside of that, you will not be placement testing. So when you see this, don't get worried. That doesn't apply to you. You are going to submit your high school transcripts to admissions@ccac.edu, and you will be asked to complete the FAFSA. You want to go to the last final steps. I believe it has your contact information on it, Chance. Or not. But so if you have any questions, you can use the chat feature, or you could let me know, and I'd be happy to answer anything about the application process. If that's something that you're interested in, or any questions about the FAFSA. I'm not a financial aid specialist, but if that's something that concerns you, now's the time for you to ask, because all of us are here to answer.
Thank you so much, Charmin. So right in the chat feature, I'll do this first. If any of the panelists we have still here, if you can, in the chat feature, place in your name and then your contact information. So our attendees, if we have any specific questions, they can reach out to you. So if our panelists, please, right in the chat feature, make sure it's all attendees. You place in your contact information. That's one. And then now, we're 7 o'clock. It's pretty supposed to be 6 to 7 p.m., but we're going to be here, right? Any questions you may have? I'm seeing some popping up now, so I'm going to see if we could have a question. Sure. Question we have, how many credits to get an associate's degree? And it's okay. The person says, sorry if I'm late. It's all right. So in order to get an associate's degree, roundabout number average is about 60 credits, right? But it also depends on the program you're in, right? So if you get into, let's say, our informational technology certificate program, it's about maybe 18 credits, but that's a certificate, right? But then you get the associates is about, I think, 62 or 64 credits, right? Just more classes you have to take. So that's how many credits it takes to an associate's degree. Now the time frame, if you're a super student that I call, where you take the max you could take is between 15 and 18 credits per semester. But let's just say you took between 12 and 15. It should take you about 2 years to finish it. But let's say you took more credits per semester. I've seen students finish in a year and a half, right? But again, that's if a student doesn't have a job. I'd say you have children, right? You have to always try to balance work life, student life, and real life, right? So it really all depends. But then we have academic advisors that can walk you through that process and those questions as well. Great question. All right, let's see here. We have about 16 attendees still on. Any questions? Oh, well, here we go. They're jumping in there now. Will this be recorded webinar be available for viewing later? Yes, it is being recorded right now, and it's actually, correct me if I'm wrong, Chance, I think it's live on YouTube, I think, that we have. I think someone indicated that it was, but it is.
Yes, that is correct. We are live on YouTube and we will share a link for the recorded webinar as well.
All right. So if you don't have any questions, you're more than welcome to hop off the Zoom. We want to thank you for being with us this evening. Hopefully we had some good information for you. And again, any questions you may have, please reach out in the chat box to reach out to us and see if we could help you with that. I want to also say thank you to our panelists as well. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Byron. I mean, it really, really was a wealth of knowledge and information. I love to hear individual stories, right? To see how they got to where they're at. People can aspire from anywhere. Truly believe that. You're most welcome. Someone put in the chat, I just want to say thank you very much for sharing this. This was very inspirational and informative. You are most welcome. That's what we're here for. All right, I'm sure we still have some attendees still on. I teach courses, so I'll be the teacher and I'll start pointing individuals out if you have a question. But we are still here. And thank you for sharing the information too on the chat. So we do have our next webinar will be in April. So please be on the lookout. We'll probably share the information the similar way. So we're gonna have these probably monthly to make sure we provide some information to individuals who weren't able to participate. So definitely share the word, but we'll get this information out to you. All right, it is 7:07. I think we are ready to go. Again, thank you everyone who attended. Panelists, thank you so much. I know you're off screen, but hopefully you're giving me a Zoom wave. Bye. But thank you again for participating.